Hello everyone, my name is Hina Parmar and today I am going to deal with the topic Swadeshi movement in Tagore's The Home and the World. This is my personal information, some points which I am going through in my presentation. So first, let's start with Rabindranath Tagore. Rabindranath Tagore was a poet, philosopher, playwright, song composer, essayist, novelist, and painter. In the 90s, he wrote many patriotic songs and protest against the partition of Bengal. In 1913, he was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature, the first Asian to receive this honor. In 1950, he was awarded a knighthood which he returned in 1990 as a protest against the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. In 1921, he established Vishwa Bharati University at Shanti Niketan, a center for arts and ideas. Tagore's notable works include poetry collection The Golden Boat, Chitrangada, Post Office Gora, and The Home and the World. In the 1920s, Tagore produced paintings which won him appreciation as one of the leading contemporary artists of the country. Tagore is the person who is traveled throughout the world and he delivered most important lectures. And he also wrote upon nationalism, civilization, and on religion. Most of his works are centered around caste and widow remarriages and politics issues. Home and the World. The Home and the World is a novel that reads like an allegory on the failure of the Indian nationalist projects circling around the issue of home versus world, tradition versus modernity, create, create by the active involvement of the colonizers in the cultural, economic, and administrative life of the colonizers. The novel is set at the time of the Swadeshi movement, which emerged as the radical nationalist response to the act of partition, engineered by the British colonial administration. The Home and the World was published 10 years after the vexing partition of Bengal and the beginning of the magic uh, incantation of Bande Mataram, first in Bengali and then in English. In this novel, there were the three characters, and the character of Nikhil is the true follower of Swadeshi movement because he is the person who thinking of his nation's poor people. Because in Swadeshi movement, they were avoiding Western goods, and they were forced to buy Indian goods, which is Indian goods were much of the Indian goods were have high rupees than the Western goods. And in opposite, the Sandeep's character is he was the radical nationalist leader, and he believed in blunt things, bluntly put, without any finicking niceness. And Sandeep believes his belief is that let us dedicate our lives to removing the root of this sorrow in the country. Swadeshi movement in Tagore's Home and the World. Swadeshi movement is the center theme in the Tagore's Home and the World. Swadeshi movement is one of the important movement which is the leads people to think for their nation and hold their culture and hold their identity. And this is the one of the way that they can united and they can fight for their nation. And the Swadeshi movement Tagore suggested that the Swadeshi movement is much more complex than that we think, and as the same as the Home and the World, the novel is also have much more complexity. The movement emerged as a response to Lord Curzon's policy of divide the rule. Divide and rule. The partition of Bengal was planned by the Governor General and Viceroy of India, Lord Curzon. The government called the partition an administrative move. Swadeshi was a part of nationalist movement which focused on promoting the Indian handmade goods and boycotting Western goods. Thus, it aims to strengthen the local industries. It was a non-violent movement. The Swadeshi movement is Swadeshi movement is for them, for nations poor people, but it not benefit them. This movement is non-violent movement, but later on it converted into violent movement. The concept of Swadeshi was sufficiency, a method which could improve the economic conditions in the country through indigenous technique and products. Gandhi believed that there was significant connection between Swadeshi and Swaraj. Swadeshi movement disseminated in Bengal between 95 and 1908. The immediate cause for Swadeshi in Bengal was the partition of Bengal in 95. Nikhil was the opponent that boycotting foreign goods from the Indian market would be a huge loss of the poor traders for whom earning small amount of money is an everyday struggle. An example of this was Panchu, a poor man who sold foreign clothes. Nikhil believed that Nikhil have different idea for Swadeshi movement. He thinks for their nation's people. On opposite, Sandeep and his Swadeshi supporters burnt the whole bale of cloth and cried, "This is the first funeral ray lighted by your village in the celebration of the last rites foreign comers. There are sacred ashes. Smear yourself with them in token of your Swadeshi vow." Nikhil has his own version of Swadeshi. He uses Indian-made pencils, knives, and old-fashioned castor oil lamps. His version of Swadeshi is marked with peaceful methods and self-control. Sandeep's show of nationalism is actually a form of self-love. Uh, Bimla's fascination with Sandeep disturbs her equation with Nikhil. She mistakes the ideals of Nikhil's and his weakness for not supporting Swadeshi. On the other hand, Nikhil, who has immense trust and love for Bimla, continue to watch how she crosses the threshold of the house to enter a new world. Nikhil give freedom to Bimla, that whatever she want to do, she can do, and she can follow their ideas and whatever she believes. And Bimla is confused about her love for Swadeshi and her love for Sandeep. Um, uh, Swayed by Sandeep, she feels that I was Shakti, also an embodiment of universal joy. And this hero, this true servant of the country, this devotee of mine, this flaming intelligence, this burning energy, this shining genius, he also was I, creating from moment to moment. Have I not seen how my presence pours fresh life into him time after time? Bimla believes that nation need her help, but this is not the truth. And Sandeep force Bimla that she have to participate in Swadeshi movement, and she contributes some work for Swadeshi movement, but Bimla did not do anything. Ekla Chalo Re by Rabindranath Tagore. Ekla Chalo Re is the song which is written by Rabindranath Tagore, and this is the one of the rhyme song uh, which is this song in Swadeshi movement. And this is the one of the song that give strength and power and courage to Indian people, that they can fight for their nation, and they can fight all alone. If there were no one, they can also fight for all alone. And this is the songs that give freedom the Indian people, that they can unite and they can fight, and they can also put their ideas and put their whatever they believe, and they can follow they can follow their thoughts. The song was composed by Rabindranath Tagore in 1905. It was one of the several protest songs which was composed in the background of a tense political situation following the Swadeshi movement, and was originally entitled Eka. Eka was first published in the September 1955 issue of the Bandar magazine, and was included in Tagore's song uh, uh, anthology in the section of Gita Bitan, which was Tagore's lyrical anthology. The musical rendition of the song was prepared by his nice Indian Indira Devi, and was recorded by him between 95 and 98. Unfortunately, the original record, which was labeled as was Swadeshi record, was lost. Ekla Cholore has been adapted in popular culture in several ways, and have been recorded by various singers eventually. The song epitomizes the spirit of continuing one's journey despite abandonment and no support, and continues to inspire people. Records are lost, however, two other records made by um, Harendranath Dutt and Hindu till the date. Conclusion. Thus, through the novel, Tagore continues us about the dangers of such nationalist movements which were running across the country. Tagore bringing in to review the true meaning of the term Swadeshi. People like Sandeep were only influencing people in the name of Swadeshi, with no real spirit of the term. The motive was to only make money. In her motive to serve the country, Bimla is attracted to this outside world, and leave behind her husband Nikhil her home. Nikhil, who represent Tagore's ideology, never gives in the into the tactics of Swadeshi movement. Bimla's journey from home to the world and back to home is a cautionary tale against the dangers of Swadeshi movement, which was degenerating into a violating movement. This is some references. Thank you. Now I'm. Do you have any question?
Tina, my question is, how does the Swadeshi movement impact the lives and decisions of the central characters such as Vimla, Nikhil, and Sandeep?
Swadeshi movement impact the lives and decisions of the central characters. Um, we know that the true follower of the Swadeshi movement is Nikhilesh, and he think differently from Sandeep and Bimla. He think for their nation's people, and he think that he know that Swadeshi goods have high values than Western goods, and some of the poor sellers were selling their selling Western goods, and if the nation's people were avoid to buying Western goods, then unfortunately the poor people suffer for that. And Bimla Bimla thinks that nation need her, and she can do for Swadeshi movement, but she doesn't do anything, and she at the end at the end of the novel, Bimla opened her mind, and she know that Sandeep is not the right person, and he is not the true follower of the Swadeshi movement. He only needs money, and he is selfish people.
Now my question is that how does the Swadeshi movement in the novel affects the relationship of three main characters and also the love triangle between Vimla and Sandeep?
The Swadeshi movement in this novel affect the Swadeshi movement in this novel mainly affect my perspective is that the Swadeshi movement is only affected two characters, Bimla and Nikhilesh, because the Sandeep is the character who is only for money, and he is selfish one, and he is just need power of politics, and Nikhilesh is the true follower of Swadeshi movement, and on other side, Bimla wants to follow Swadeshi movement, and she have her own thoughts, Nikhilesh Nikhilesh Nicholas allow her to do whatever she want to do, but at the end, uh, at the end, Nikhilesh was died, and Bimla get to know the idea that Nikhilesh is the right person, and his thought of Swadeshi movement uh, is reliable. Thank you.